welcome to the next episode of
Translate This
with
Richard Fisher
and Melissa Meyer.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What
Good
is
to
this
hear from you.
podcast about? Do you know?
I'm not going to tell you yet.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
can tell you that our podcast is about language, culture, life, and the hilarity of it
I
all.
love that. I love it. You say it better than me.
Oh, well, I've said it a lot. Practice makes perfect, man.
Yeah.
And I will not give you all of our social media this time. I feel like I'm giving it to you every single podcast, but I will say this. Find us on social media.
Yeah. You'll find us.
You'll find us.
Yeah. Make it a journey.
Make it a journey.
Yeah.
Translate that.
I think most of me finding things on the internet is a journey, but it's a hard journey, not enjoyable. Like, where the hell is it?
I know. You know, okay, you're going to give us your topic. Before we go to your topic, do
Mhm.
you find that because I'm finding that midlife journey of hell in the internet, that I've become my parent,
Yeah.
all those things that I'm like, Lauren, how do I work this thing? Producer Lauren, I can't figure out this stuff and it's driving me crazy. And she's like, no, first you need to do this. And just like, oh,
Mhm.
I know what it was.
Mhm.
Dropping a pinpoint of
Uh-huh.
my location on my
Yes.
Apple
Yes.
iPhone, right?
Yes.
My iPhone. And I'm just
Uh-huh.
sitting there trying to send somebody where I'm at. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I do this again? And she's like,
Uh-huh.
open this up. She's like, just have dad do it. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, I need to learn.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, see, now I'll never not know how to do this again. But
Mhm.
bet you money I will
Yeah.
have forgotten by the next time I try
Yeah.
to do it.
It is,
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say, well, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
the most frustrated. The most frustrated person I know is me about not understanding technology.
Yeah.
I have got to the point where technology is an actual entity. It's an actual
Yeah.
like existence, and it's out to get me.
It's
But
AI.
but in a really sinister way. And
It
the
hates
sinister
you.
way is that it works 80% of the time on purpose, so that when it's the 20% it doesn't work, I'm like, what the hell? I'm so lost. If it works, uh, if it doesn't work a lot, then I'm like in fix mode. But the 80% kills me because I expect it to work 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's
It's
frustrating.
technology. It's supposed to work 100%, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And we have fiber.
Yeah.
And it's like 90% of the time it works
I
great.
know.
But that
I know.
10%,
Oh my gosh.
I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much.
Okay. Well, and then, we talked about recently how we're out here in Calicio now. I found out that I cannot run the two washing machines and the dryer at the same time.
Oh,
So, because we have an extra washer, because,
okay.
there's many of us here. And
Mhm.
so putting the stuff into the washing machine blew the circuit panel
Okay.
out.
That's
That's something that I haven't experienced in a while.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no, everything went dark. But now
Uh-huh.
it's not like before where you just go to the panel and
Yeah.
turn it back on.
Yeah.
We had to like go out to the actual main box
Yeah.
on the street
On the street
and like poke it through a hole
to reset
to
it.
reset it.
That's scary.
It's well, and the funny thing is that the owner's like, oh no, I do this all the time. You're not supposed to do it, but I'm a licensed electrician,
Oh.
so this is what I do. I'm like, oh God.
They showed you.
And he showed me how to do it. So
Oh
I
my
do
God.
that.
Did
I'm
you
not
stand like 10 feet away?
I did, but so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go with technology. And the worst part though here is that, if I blow a panel or something out, I have to reset the modem, right? So everything is down.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just technology, man. Translate that, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my saying of the day. Instead, translate this, translate that, make that, fix that.
Here's an old school thing that the younger generation maybe not know is the old fuse box.
Yeah.
You remember the old fuses?
With the pennies.
The pennies?
Do you know about that?
No, I never used pennies.
I did. So we lived in upstate New York.
Okay.
And it was the old fuse box with the old fuses that you like
sparks.
the ancient spark fuses, and you stick a penny in them and put them back in to get them to work.
To get more of a connection.
To get more of a connection. So if they go out, you stick a penny.
Yeah.
I learned that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still here. I didn't die.
Well, as long as you're not putting your finger in between that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think somehow those boxes were less likely to electrocute you than the new ones.
I don't know. The new ones feel like on off. on and off.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Well, then sometimes my husband will try to like change light bulbs with,
Mhm,
or not light bulbs, but the switch and the
mhm,
everything. He'll take it apart, and he's got live wires,
mhm,
and
mhm,
he's just he like bends them to
mhm,
go different directions,
mhm.
and then he says, "It's okay. The electrician showed me how to do this.
Uh-huh,
As long as they don't touch." I'm
uh-huh,
like, "Those are live
yeah,
wires.
uh-huh,
Turn off the electricity." No, no, it's fine. I can just do this. It's
uh-huh,
totally fine. Like, oh my god, and my whole life is passing
yeah,
before my eyes
I
thinking,
know.
"Why are you not scared? You're gonna make
You're
me a widow."
Well, yeah, and you're the one that has to deal with his,
Yeah.
electrified body. What are you gonna
Exactly.
you have to drag it out and,
Oh god.
I'm sorry, but that's just
That's exactly
reality,
what the
so
reality
don't
would
do
be.
it,
I know,
right?
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I
I
don't
know.
want it to.
And this is coming from the man that won't let me get on a ladder
Uh-huh.
because I have a tendency to fall down. So he's like, "No, no, no. No,
Uh-huh,
don't touch the knives and
uh-huh.
don't get on a ladder. Those are the two rules for me in the house."
Well, that's good. He doesn't wanna deal with your body.
He doesn't want to deal with mine. So I guess we each have our own
Yeah,
paranoia.
there you go.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so what are we going to learn
Yes.
about today?
Well, I have to say, please have an open mind. I know you do
I do.
already.
I have an open
You're
mind.
gonna open it a little bit extra.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that
All right.
happen.
All right. And, I have to, put a little disclaimer in this.
Oh no.
Yeah, to protect our podcast.
Oh no. Okay.
No,
I'm
but it's all in good fun
Ooh, okay.
and
Okay.
great education here.
Okay.
It's all
What's
about education, right?
oh, oh yes
Yeah.
it is.
All
It's
right.
always about education.
Yeah. Yeah, just a disclaimer, you just gotta do it.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no.
All right.
I'm dreading. I'm dreading.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay. What is it? What
All
is
right.
it?
The title is, and I changed the title a few times.
So I won't throw
To
things
me,
at you?
yeah, so yeah, help you ingest
Oh my
this topic.
gosh. Okay. Let me see. I got my
You
phone
ready?
next to me.
Yeah.
I can throw that at
Oh,
you if I don't
calling
like it.
they're like call 911? What
No, no.
911
We
or
don't have that here.
112? What is it out here?
112.
112. We gotta remember
I
that.
think it's 112.
112. That's the
Okay.
911 for Spain.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Drum roll, Lauren. You have a drum roll
Well, I
there?
don't know.
No? No,
Oh
I'm
my God.
kidding. You don't have to. Taking psychedelics to learn languages.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me just tell you, my son and his
Mhm.
whole group of friends probably just tuned in now.
Okay. Okay.
And get the reference?
Mhm.
Tuned in.
Ah, that's very cool. You
Yeah.
already it sounds like you know a lot about,
Uh, this is what I know.
because you didn't say tune out.
No,
Mhm,
I know about Timothy Leary
mhm.
and the start of acid.
Okay,
Drop out,
okay.
tune in.
There you go. That's right.
And that's about it. And the fact that
There's
he is
some
Winona Ryder's godfather.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's Johnny Depp and the
Okay.
whole group of
Gosh.
that people
That's my
and
generation. I
Ken
should have known.
Kesey
Yeah. I must
and
have been dropping out when I
yeah.
learned didn't do the celebrity watch, but
No.
that's fine. Taking psychedelics to learn languages.
Wow.
So I'll just say the disclaimer now.
Okay.
Okay. We here do not condone the use of illegal drugs. Any experimental drug or anything mentioned in this episode should be advised by your doctor. We don't condone the consumption of alcohol. That's a little subcategory, subtopic that's
Okay.
coming up. We don't condone the consumption of alcohol. This episode is meant to explore its effect on the brain. It's
Great.
very scientific.
I like it.
Yeah.
But does
All
that
right.
mean I have to stop drinking my wine? I'm
You
just
have
kidding.
wine?
No, I'm drinking
Where's my
coffee.
wine?
I'm drinking. Hey, you know what? I'm drinking coffee, but it doesn't have caffeine, right?
Uh-huh.
So
I
we
have it.
can't. So are you gonna? We got to include that for. We don't condone the consumption
Yeah.
of legal drugs.
Uh-huh.
What about caffeine? That's a legal drug, man.
Well,
That's a legal drug.
it's a legal drug.
Just saying.
Well, this is part of the topic too, that psychedelics are becoming legal.
Yes.
And that's part of my
Yes.
topic.
Good.
And that's why I'm talking about it, because it's becoming legal.
I'm really
Right?
excited about this.
Great.
I've heard a lot of good research that, in particular, mushrooms, which are called what is it, Scylla something or
Oh, I
another.
have it. I have it.
I don't
I
know the
have it.
name
It's
yet,
right here.
but
Psilocybin. No, psilocybin.
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 That it's doing a lot of good for a lot of people, and I'm very open minded to it. Me personally, I've
Great.
never experimented
Ooh, please.
with acid.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that because, and I'm not going to incriminate myself, and I
Mhm.
might plead the fifth
Mhm.
on some other
Uh,
drug. But the reason why, it's because I think I will see demons and things like that.
Please listen.
And so,
Don't do any drugs until you listen to this whole topic,
okay.
because
And
I have
then I can go do
statistics.
drugs.
Yeah. Because you're gonna do it with the knowledge
Okay.
of the
I'm going to
statistics,
keep
the
my mind
probability.
open. Open.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
No, and this is not a pro drug episode at all.
Okay.
I don't wanna say too much, but it's gonna be very objective.
Great. I
Just say
love
that.
that. I love
It's
that. I
very
love that
objective, yeah.
because we have to think about our
Oh,
listeners who,
absolutely. I
we're
would
not,
never say
it's a
go
drug culture
experiment. You have to
podcast.
know the risk, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the disclaimer
All
is
right.
there just to back us up, right?
Okay.
All right. So, well, I wanted to go to the very beginning of how this topic came up.
Yeah.
And why did I link alcohol to it? Because alcohol and psychedelics alter the brain,
Hmm.
and I researched both effects on language learning. So I have some statistics on alcohol and how does it affect language learning. And then we'll go into psychedelics and some experiments that happened with that. But I wanted to start with my own personal story of when I was a Spanish beginner learner in my early 20s. My Spanish was really rough, and it was a
Oh,
great. Yeah, go
and I
ahead.
want to interrupt right there
Yes,
because this is really important that
yes.
I have been wanting to make sure that we always say this to everybody. Did you hear that, people out there? He was in his early 20s when he started learning a language, which means he was an adult when he
Mhm.
started learning a language that he is now fluent in and teaches others how to speak. So, yes, you can learn a language as an adult.
Yes, yes. And, technically started learning as a teenager, but I didn't really use it. I didn't develop it enough until
Right.
my early 20s. And this particular trip to Cuba was kind of the big step
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
basic communication to building fluency.
Which is really fascinating because most Americans have not been to Cuba.
Yes, that's
It's
another
another
topic.
topic,
Talk
another
about,
disclaimer.
we won't talk about how I got there.
When, no, you can't.
I don't, did I say Cuba?
No, I think it was Venezuela.
Yeah. I don't know if that's worse. Is that, is that more incrimination there?
You made it to Puerto Rico.
Let's say a Caribbean country.
Here in
I
Puerto
went to a
Rico.
Caribbean
Yeah.
country in the 90s. Yeah, I had some basic communication skills, but fluency was not there. How am I tying to this? Was alcohol was what helped me gain some fluency. This was one particular evening that I was in Cuba. We were out in the countryside, and a group of locals that we had met, who were kind of our tour guides, said, "Hey, let's go out to this party that's happening out in the middle of this farm." And all the farm workers were just getting together, and then we were invited to go.
And that sounds like every beginning of every horror film I've ever watched.
I saw a lot of machetes,
Oh
a
my
lot of machetes,
gosh.
but it was so great because we had to get on the back of a dump truck to get there.
Oh no.
Yeah, we were staying in a
And you're still like
dump
on
truck.
board with us
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, we couldn't sit, but we were all hanging on to the sides to get to this farm.
And then you started seeing the ashes come down out of the sky. I mean, seriously.
Well, for us, when you're early 20s, it's just like you don't compare this to anything. It's just new, and you just go with the flow.
Sounds
So
horrifying.
I was speaking to my the friends that I made there with my really broken Spanish, and we had this way of communicating that was just here and there, little,
Yeah.
slow, patient learning and communication.
As we all do when we
And
learn a
yeah,
language.
and we also had in our group, there was a group of us students, and there was one that was fluent, and so she was always translating. I always tried to speak, but then we got her to help sometimes,
And
and
was
so
she American?
she was, yeah. She was
Okay.
a Latina, growing up in LA. So it was a rudimentary communication between me and the people there, and I'm always trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they looked at me like, "Oh, he's trying. Look, the gringo's trying. Okay, give him credit. Give him credit."
That's good.
Yeah. So we got to the party, and it was amazing because it was just that these guys in these cowboy hats, and not cowboy hats like US style, but Cuban style.
Hmm.
Cool. And they were just great. And there was rum, bottles and bottles of
Oh
rum.
my gosh, this sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, rum is just beautiful, and it's hot and sweaty, and you just want to drink. So I got drunk pretty
I
fast.
would think so.
Yeah. And I don't know, we were talking and suddenly I just noticed, and I was drunk, and I just noticed all these farm workers and all my friends and the new people that we met were just staring at me like in shock. And I don't know why,
Mhm.
but at that moment, my Spanish just flowed. And they all
Wow.
were like, "What happened to Richard?" Like, his Spanish just improved because I was drunk and it just kind of flowed. And they were like,
Wow.
"He speaks really well, look."
Wow.
And I'm like, "I don't what is why is everybody looking at me?" But I was making a joke in Spanish and they all laughed at it. And I'm like, "Holy shit." Oh, sorry. You got sorry. Holy shit. Like, they're understanding me, you know? And I gave credit to the rum. I was like, that was it.
So did you buy, like, every bottle of that rum ever and just like, "Okay, I gotta take this rum with me now. This is my magic
Yeah.
potion of how
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to learn and speak."
Uh-huh. Well, I think in general, I thought of that experience of like, I want to continue. Yeah, I want to build fluency more and more, maybe with more alcohol.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But
"More rum."
yeah, but that was the kind of like personal experience about how
Mhm.
alcohol can affect language learning.
Do you
You know?
okay, and then let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think it was the rum,
Hmm.
or do you think it was just your inhibitions were gone as alcohol makes everybody's inhibitions leave?
There are, I'm going to give you some statistics actually from a study, and
Okay.
then I'm going to give you I'll give you
Okay.
my experience first, but then it might not be the same as what statistics have shown because
Okay.
there's been study groups, research that actually did have groups that drank low levels of alcohol,
Mhm.
taken an oral exam, and then
Mhm.
people who didn't, and they would do comparisons.
Oh, good.
But for me, it was probably, yeah, losing some inhibitions, not worrying so much about making mistakes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's not confidence. It's not the confidence, it's more losing inhibition. That's
Mhm.
two
Mhm.
different things, right?
Completely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my personal experience with this, and that's how it kind of spurred me to continue researching to see, is this real? Was my experience just unique,
Mhm.
or in general do people gain fluency with alcohol?
Right.
Right.
And you think about that
Hmm.
because as language teachers, a lot of people you'll hear them say, and as language learners, they'll say, "Have a glass of wine and then come talk to me,"
Hmm. Yeah.
and just I think that we in the industry we experience this a lot.
Hmm.
The inhibitions definitely they prevent people from having the ability
Hmm.
to really just not care if they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not a confidence issue because
Hmm.
people are already in class trying to speak.
Hmm.
They if they didn't have confidence, they wouldn't even try.
Right.
But it's not even about the confidence, it's about their management, their internal conversation in their
Hmm.
head. So if
Hmm.
they're drinking, that's going to go away and it's going
Yeah.
to fade off and
Hmm.
and they're just going to ramble. So that's
Hmm.
really really interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're doing research about it. I want to hear about that.
Okay. Yeah, and this is let's see, I'm going to give credit to the University of Kaiserslautern in Germany and the Imperial College of London. They did a joint experiment in 2016.
I'm giggling over here because
Okay.
all of a sudden in my head I'm thinking Oktoberfest and pub time
Of course the Germans.
and the
Yeah.
English.
Yeah. Like the
Like
perfect pairing.
really, because we know they like to drink a lot in those countries.
Yeah. Anyways, they did this experiment in Germany of students learning Dutch.
Oh
Interesting, right?
gosh. I
Yeah.
I would probably be drinking too if I had to learn Dutch. Oh my gosh.
I have to talk to my sister. She speaks
Yeah,
fluent
that's
Dutch.
right. Your
Yeah.
sister lives in
I could
Amsterdam.
ooh, I could, have her on a guest speaker.
You should.
Yeah,
We'll do a follow-up.
yeah. How many people learn Dutch
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's that much of
outside of
well,
Netherlands, you
okay,
know?
okay.
Yeah,
To birdwalk a little
yeah,
here.
sure.
Nike's European world headquarters
Mhm.
are in the
Netherlands,
Netherlands.
yeah.
So
Okay.
people learn
Sure,
Dutch if they're
sure.
I mean, those are international companies that are
Mhm.
there. So
Yeah.
people have to learn
Mhm.
Dutch.
Right. Okay, so here's some interesting details. They didn't just give them what do you call it, IPA or Guinness.
Yeah.
No, they gave a low dose beer. I'm assuming like a pilsner, but
Yeah.
half water and half beer,
Oh,
so
good.
watered down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they gave it to two group, and they came up with the differences. Here's something interesting. Confidence
Mhm.
did not go up or down. It stayed the same.
Mhm.
So that's what we're just talking about.
Right, right.
They felt the same amount of confidence taking the exam, whether they were affected by the alcohol or
Mhm.
not. Here's the difference. Pronunciation and fluency improved with the alcohol. Right.
Wow.
Pronunciation is everything.
Yeah, it
If you
is.
don't pronounce, no one's going to understand you. That will
Oh,
affect your score.
and especially if you wanna order a croissant in France.
Yeah. Oh, you have a story behind that?
Oh, yeah. Every day when I tried
Go
to
for it.
order every day at Eric Kaiser in Lyon,
Uh-huh.
I'm going down to go get my little croissant,
Okay.
and I'm like, "Ah, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And they're like, "Quoi?" I'm like pointing at it. Croissant, croissant.
Yes.
Like, en croissant,
Oh
or they,
my,
and I'm like
no.
freaking looking at them
No.
like, come on.
They're just
They were
angry at you.
messing with me the
Yeah.
whole
That
time.
that happens.
It
People
happens
mess with me in
yeah.
France too.
In
Yeah.
France, they
They
are
wanna mess with you.
very proud of their language,
Yeah.
and I get that, and they want you to
Mhm.
pronounce it properly,
Mhm.
and I get that. But I have found that are maybe not as many empathetic
Mhm.
listeners
Mhm.
culturally.
Yeah.
They're not doing it to be offensive.
Right.
They're doing it because they're very language proud. And I
Yeah.
had to learn the difference because at first I thought, you guys are a bunch of dicks, You guys are not being nice. But it's not that.
Yeah.
It's also because
Mhm.
they weren't used to, in Lyon in particular, it
Yeah.
was much more French. It was
Yes.
very French. It's not Paris where they would
Right.
have forgiven me, maybe a
Okay.
little bit. Or just not
Oh, I
talk
would have
to
thought
me.
the opposite.
Not talk to me. I did have an experience with a
Mhm.
bodyguard
Uh-huh.
in Paris. We went to go see a band from
Yeah.
Portland. And we're
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, this is great. This band's from Portland's here. We're
Yeah.
gonna go see them."
Okay.
And I walked up and this is before I had taken any French classes. It's just my leftover French from when my mom taught me as a kid.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to ask what time the band comes on.
Okay.
And the guy looks at me and like his whole body starts shaking
Uh-huh.
and just looks at me really
Oh my
angrily and says,
gosh.
"No English."
The
That's what
what
he said to
the
me.
hell?
And then
Oh
there
my
was
god.
another bodyguard, and I'm like, because we get to the door,
Yeah.
and and the other bodyguard's
Uh-huh.
like, "You can't come in."
Uh-huh.
After I wait in line like
Yeah.
a half hour,
Uh-huh.
and I'm looking, and I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "That guy said you said something." I'm like, "I said nothing." And
Uh-huh.
I start screaming at the other
Yeah.
guy. I'm pissed
Yeah.
at this point
Yeah.
because also it's like 2 in the morning.
Okay.
They didn't go on till 2 or 3 in the morning, and
Okay.
I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm going, "I said nothing." I asked, "What time the band came out?" I said, "I'm from Portland.
Uh-huh.
I'm from where this band is from.
Uh-huh.
You're not gonna let me in? I'm not English."
Uh-huh.
No offense to all my wonderful English family,
I'm not English. Well,
but I wasn't
you say
English.
anything to get in.
I'm trying to say that's it. I'm saying anything to get in at this point. I said,
Uh,
"I know these bands.
uh-huh.
I know who they are."
Uh-huh.
And he's just looking at me just like just complete disdain.
Yeah.
That was my horrible Parisian moment of no English.
Well,
But,
speaking of that too, we have another episode that you have brought up, language, I don't know, Nazism. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's it. That's
Like
it.
this
I did.
intolerance.
I did.
We'll have to find out just to refer our audience to check out that
Yeah,
episode
check out
too.
that episode. It was on accents. The deep dive on
Accent, deep
accents.
dive
Uh-huh.
accents. Check it out, guys.
Uh-huh.
All right. So yeah, that was experiment. So pronunciation, fluency, and of course fluency. That was kind of like what happened to me, right?
Right.
Improved.
That's great though.
Yeah. And to me, the best oral exams
Mhm.
rate pronunciation and fluency. It doesn't always come up in some traditional exams where it's all grammar.
Mhm.
Alcohol can, I'll
And then
just say,
all I'm saying, and then I'm in my head this
yeah,
whole time
yeah,
thinking in my head, I have a lot of friends that are LDS, a
mhm,
lot of friends that are Latter-day Saints. I know a
yes,
lot of Muslims,
yeah,
and I know a lot of people who are reformed addicts
mhm,
or sober alcoholics,
yeah.
and that's not an option for them.
Well, that's why you have to take your facts, these factors into
Yeah,
consideration
and
to your
I'm one.
values
Yeah,
and your views. So yeah,
I'm just thinking what they can
um,
do. Maybe they take a lot of
it's
melatonin,
yeah.
or
Well, with this, that's the first part, and the second part is we're going into magic mushrooms,
oh,
better known as
woo!
to our scientific community out there, psilocybin.
Oh, I do have a
Yes.
question. You
Yes.
didn't mention marijuana.
What is marijuana? I don't know what that is.
Okay,
That's not
which
part of my
which is
study, but
a legal drug in many states,
yeah.
but my question is, does marijuana did you have any research on that? Because you're going straight from alcohol to
Mm.
psychedelic mushrooms. So you've skipped marijuana, which is quote unquote
Well,
the entry drug.
let me just tell you, for the whole time until yesterday,
Yeah,
the title of this topic was gonna be "Taking Drugs to Learn Languages." Now, I would put, marijuana, cannabis, whatever you wanna call it,
cannabis.
and but then I said, I don't wanna go into every drug. That's too much
Okay. All
information.
right.
I'm
Okay.
just going purely psychedelics
Okay.
for very specific scientific purpose
I support that.
because other drugs will have different effects
Okay.
that may or may
Okay.
not affect language learning,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
think in general I've
Don't
had
take cocaine.
well, let's just say I have a number of former students who have smoked out lunchtime and they come back and they are not involved with learning languages. Let's just
That's
say
was
that.
my yeah,
That
that
was
was
their
my
own
suspicion.
world, which is fine. That's what they wanted at the time.
Or maybe they thought they were learning a lot and they
Oh
just in
no.
their head having conversations, but nothing was coming out
Yeah.
of their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Learning languages would not be part of smoking weed.
No.
So but psychedelics, maybe. Let's talk about
Oh,
that.
see,
Let's
this is
let's deep let's
fascinating.
dig deep, dive deeply into this and see if
Okay,
this is
okay,
actually. But we have to get a little scientific here about
okay.
what does these magic mushrooms do to our brain. So we got to get a little scientific. I got to give some credit to a couple of sources here. Just kind of name a few. The Journal of Psychopharmacology,
Mm.
a great episode on Netflix of a series called The Mind Explained, a
Yes.
I mean, I loved it because it's very visual, very animated way. Okay, Mind Explained on
Yeah.
Netflix, episode 5, season 1. Check it out.
All
It's
right.
all about psychedelics and the effects on the brain.
Okay.
I will bring up a few details about that so to help the listeners understand what we're talking about.
Good.
Another source I found which was useful, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, PNAS, based in the USA, as well as that experiment at the university in Germany that I mentioned before.
Okay.
So those are my sources to help understand there is a difference between psilocybin, which most people know as mushrooms,
Mhm.
and LSD.
Yeah.
Both are originated through a type of fungus, but they're different type of fungi. So one,
Mhm.
LSD is from a different type of fungus. The other one, magic mushrooms, is a different fungus. So just to
Mhm.
say they're different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I decided to focus on both, but we're gonna discover some things along the
Okay.
way. We'll just say
Okay.
that. All right. And the biggest reason, like I said before, why am I bringing up psychedelics is because actually, in many parts of the US, Oregon, one of them, the
Yes.
first state in the US to legalize psychedelics for medical use. So you can actually go to your doctor and get permission to use psychedelic drugs like magic mushrooms
For what though? What's the
for
medical
the
use?
for the purposes that the doctor feels you might benefit from. So there's
So
um
it's widely prescribed for different things.
different things, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna name one
Right.
without naming all of them.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
go to your doctor if you think you might need it. There you go. Another thing is that's happening is that cities are decriminalizing it,
Yes, I've heard
right?
about this too.
Yeah. So I won't name them. I'll just say, look it up. Your city might decriminalize it. Meaning, what does that mean? Decriminalize? Well, if you use it, you won't go to jail, but it might still be illegal. So there's a
Right,
little
right.
kind of gray area there. There's some history with LSD and the use of psychedelics on mind. Back in
Mhm.
1938, we have to name Dr. Albert Hoffman, a Swiss doctor, had experimented and used this fungus with the brain
Yeah.
through experimenting. And because of the lack of knowledge, the lack of technology, it wasn't fully
Okay.
studied,
Okay.
but it was became popularized in the 40s and 50s. It was used in psychotherapy.
Yeah.
They found a lot of uses in having people when they take it. There's a lot of truth that comes out.
Right.
There's just more ability to analyze, self-analyze.
Right. And you
Yeah.
know
Hmm.
that the early gods of psychology,
Yeah.
as we want to call them,
Mhm.
they all were high on coke a lot
I'm sure, because they would thought
because
it was just normal,
they were
right?
they were
Mhm.
experimenting with it.
Mhm.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, this isn't like something new
Right.
that psychologists and doctors and
Mhm.
psychiatrists have experimented with
Mhm.
drugs. I think from what I'm
Mhm.
understanding, there's a lot of political movement to decriminalize or make it legal because of the opioid
Mhm.
epidemic,
Yes.
because pharmaceutical
Mhm.
companies,
Mhm.
big pharma,
Mhm.
have made these designer drugs
Mhm.
that are not as healthy on the body
Mhm.
as these drugs that have been natural in
Mhm.
the earth
Mhm.
since beginning of time,
Mhm.
that primitive, as we call
Mhm.
cultures or native
Mhm.
cultures, have
Mhm.
used.
Mhm.
And we're now focusing back on the natural and homeopathic
Mhm.
options. And
It's
so
kinda going
this
full circle in a way, right?
exactly, it's full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
So and also because they've found that antidepressants,
Mhm.
anti-anxiety medicine are not working,
Mhm.
and you have
Lots of
to
side
and
effects.
it's a side effect,
Mhm.
lots of side effects, and you have to change drugs
Mhm.
after being on one for a while because
Mhm.
it stops working.
Yeah.
Whereas they're finding that these this is what I
Mhm.
do know
Mhm.
about mushrooms,
Mhm.
is that the argument is that, especially in what we would consider mood disorder,
Mhm.
mental illness, they are creating an opportunity for people not to be dependent on pharmaceuticals and having this type of treatment added to their therapy,
Mhm.
cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mhm.
CBT. That the CBT with the psyllium, I can never say it. I'm gonna learn it.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin. I'm gonna learn it. The psilocybin,
Mhm.
that it is actually correcting a lot of deep trauma and
Mhm.
removing PTSD.
Mhm.
So it doesn't surprise me that we're finding ourselves in this moment where you're saying that now they're figuring out how to use it to learn language. So I'm fascinated about
Well,
this.
I mean, this circle is huge. We're talking about 80 years of
Wow.
an evolution of the perception
Right.
of psychedelics,
See,
right?
and it's not just
It's the perception.
it's the perception, but
Yeah.
it's not also just something random. Like this is
Mhm.
something that's been around
Yeah.
forever,
Mhm.
and now we're
Mhm.
shedding light on it,
Mhm.
possibly, hopefully in a
Mhm.
positive manner, because it is helping people.
And I see it the journey of psychedelics very similar to cannabis,
Right.
in which all the huge benefits, government benefits, like it wasn't just people smoking weed. We're
Right.
talking about cannabis used in materials and clothing and
Right.
in war
Hemp.
materials. Yeah, hemp. And then all of a sudden it's banned,
Right. Right.
right? So psychedelics had a similar path in
Yeah.
which it was widely used.
Uh-huh.
Nice little tidbit was very interesting. Back at, I'd say the 40s, 50s, the US had a secret mission to give magic mushrooms to evil dictators. And
What?
what happens is that, well, here's the brain part of that we should get into right away,
Yeah.
like to help people to understand what's happening in the brain when you take psychedelics. Is the neurons, okay? Neurons are transmitting information from one part of the brain to the other.
Right.
And what happens when we're young is that
Mhm.
the neurons flow a lot more freely. So we're basically this, just imagine we're having this open mind, and we want to try new things, and
Mhm.
we're not closed off to new things, right?
Right.
When we get older, the neurons tend to follow the patterns of where they always go, of
Mhm.
what we want to do, desire, motivation, things like that, and we close our mind more and more, so we become more closed minded, right?
Right.
That's nothing new. We all know that when we get older, we just like what we like. We
Yeah.
don't really want to do new things all the time. We do it a lot less.
Well, experience has taught us what we like. So
Right.
and it
That's
gets
true.
reinforced
Uh-huh.
the more we do it.
So we get a rigid mindset, and some people more than others,
Right.
right? And according to why they were trying to give it to dictators, is that because they call it an ego dissolution,
Oh my gosh, that's so
right?
great. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you suddenly become aware of your outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You start to see things from different points of view.
Uh-huh.
And that's what magic
It's
mushrooms help you do
instead of
is,
being so narcissistic
yeah. Well,
in their case,
narcissism
or
to me,
megalomaniac.
yeah, I just think that's a personality effect that's from your when you were born, right?
Yeah, it's a
But maybe,
disorder.
yeah, but maybe I don't know if it would free someone from narcissism, but there may be some people who are just so they're not narcissists, but they're so fixed on one way is through fear, through
Oh,
their
yeah.
own
Yeah, yeah,
experience,
yeah,
that it
exactly.
would help them more. I don't know about narcissism, if that would help them.
I
That's
think it
another
might. I
study.
mean, if you're giving it
Yeah.
to people that are evil dictators,
Mhm. I don't
that's
know.
what is it?
Right.
Dissociative. No,
Mhm.
that's multiple.
Mhm.
What's the I forgot. Maybe producer Lauren can tell me what
Mhm.
it is, but basically the people who have the really bad like psychopaths,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
That's what I think of a dictator.
Right, right, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's another interesting topic is that are all dictators the same mentality, you know? I think the majority you gotta be a certain type of
Oh,
psychotic person, you
I
know?
think so.
Yeah,
You have to have no
um,
empathy.
yeah. But to go back to what the psychedelics actually do, a couple of things to say is non-addictive. It's definitely
See, that's
non-addictive. Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah. There's still, to this day, not enough research
Mm,
because of the it's been banned, and no when you look at the economy, the
mhm,
industry of research,
mhm.
no one wants to put a lot of money into subject or product or something
Yeah.
that is not if it's banned, they're not
Mhm,
gonna
mhm,
research it for
mhm.
marketing purposes, for economic purposes. So the money's not there. So if
Well,
someone says, "Yeah, we want to research it," where are they going to get the funding from, right? So the research hasn't been there. So even to this day, there needs to be more research done on the effects, the benefits, the disadvantages.
because I think that
Uh-huh.
they're just starting to figure that out with legalized cannabis.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. In general, it has the potential to free ourselves from a rigid mindset. So those of you who just want a simplified explanation of what it does, there it is.
So sets your mind free. Is that
Yeah.
a song?
Uh-huh. So going to the original topic,
Mhm.
I was curious, right?
Yeah.
And there's something important that I forgot to say. 8% of people who have taken it have been known to experience psychotic
Okay,
episodes.
that'd be me
Right.
right there.
Guess what?
What?
And you mentioned this, it's an open topic for you.
Mhm.
People that have paranoia and anxiety,
Yep.
things like that, can experience an increase in that.
Yep.
So
There you
this
go.
is why it's really important to say talk to your doctor.
Yep.
Right.
That's
So
why that's right for me. I stay away from drugs because
yeah.
I will just have a
Hmm.
massive panic
Yeah.
attack.
So everybody, you heard that. It can cause to small percentage of people
Mhm.
negative reaction. So be careful. So, how does it affect language learning? Very interesting. I have to now, as we are experimenting more with
Mhm.
psychedelics, there's something out there very interesting called microdosing,
Yes, this
right?
is what I've heard about.
Yes. And microdosing is generally 5 to 10% of what people have taken through mushrooms or what is considered a trip,
Yeah. Yeah.
hallucinating. So
Okay.
we're talking about less than 10% of a typical trip that people
Okay.
have, right? So it's
Okay.
very little, obviously called microdosing. Very little research has been done on that also, even in
Interesting.
microdosing. And everything, pretty much all the conclusions that I will come up with
Mhm.
needs more research. But here's what some of the interesting outcomes of language learning on people who microdose
Okay.
is that I'm going to say it in one really interesting example. If you're in a language class and you have taken psychedelics
Mhm.
and you're learning let's say you're learning transportation, so you're learning cars, buses, trains, you're learning those words in
Ha
whatever
ha
language
ha.
class.
You're taking a trip. I see what you're
No,
doing
no,
there.
no, no. That's this was just an example that came up that I read
Uh-huh.
about. So someone who's tripping, uh, if the instructor shows a photo of a car,
Uh-huh.
they could answer train.
Because they're on drugs.
Yes, because they're no, they're tripping on psychedelics.
Okay.
But think about why. Take a guess.
Because
Why
they're
would they say train if they didn't get the category in wrong? They got the
no.
category correct. They just
Yeah.
said the wrong word within the category. But why do you
Right.
think that?
Train versus car when
Yeah.
they're looking at a car
Yeah.
and they say train.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I seriously have no clue as to why they would do that.
To me, and this is my interpretation of why and thinking about how the
Okay.
brain would work when my neurons, remember, think about
Yeah.
the neurons. They have been going in the same direction in the same kind of way. I'm 52 now, so I'm pretty rigid in how I think, just like thinking style.
Yeah.
Thinking style, like I
Yeah.
think this way, and
Well,
you
you're a
know,
fully formed adult.
yeah. And so suddenly all my neurons are going in all kinds of parts of my brains that I never used in a long time,
Uh-huh.
right? So imagine that. So I see a photo of a car and I say train, right?
Mhm.
Think about it. My take on it is that I see the car as a whole new entity that is part of a bigger concept. And so that train and car could be the same thing
So you're
because it's
saying
taken me from one place to another.
but it's just in that category of
Yeah.
transportation.
Yeah.
So it's associating it. But then
Mhm.
okay. Okay. Wait a minute
Go
then.
ahead.
So if that's happening,
Mhm.
how is that helping language learning? Because is it going to
Exactly.
reinforce the wrong word?
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
okay, and for our
Mhm.
listeners,
Yes.
there is a lot that we have to
Mhm.
do to correct
Mhm.
people who have learned
Incorrectly.
incorrectly.
Yeah.
And that's a topic that a lot of people don't
Mhm.
discuss as
Yes.
language trainers.
Yes.
They'll say, "Oh, they'll get it eventually." But
Mhm.
what they don't know is
Mhm.
that you cannot one humiliate your
Mhm.
student,
Mhm.
obviously, your
Mhm.
client. If that's your profession, they're your client. So the expression of the client's always right. Even
Mhm.
even in language training, you have
Yeah.
to be very
Yeah.
careful when you correct people or they'll
Mhm.
stop coming to you.
Yeah.
Second, people have learned false cognates. It just say English and Spanish. False cognates. The famous one
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
somebody's embarrassed,
Yes.
and then they say in Spanish that they're embarrassed,
Mhm.
and they don't say it the right way. It says they're
Mhm.
saying they're pregnant
Mhm.
because of the word
Mhm.
embarazada,
Embarazada.
right? And so it's a false cognate.
Right.
It means it's not does not transfer right over. So those are
Mhm.
things that people have to correct when they're language trainers all the time. They have to, or if they learn how to conjugate something incorrectly,
Mhm.
and yeah,
And that has to do with age too,
and also
because you're
yeah,
so stuck on that word, it's hard to
right,
de-learn it
de-learn it.
or unlearn it,
Yeah, you
right?
have to unlearn it. So if you're on drugs, and I would think
Mhm.
because if you're on drugs, you're really relaxed in this
Mhm.
moment. These people
Mhm.
that are having a normal
Mhm.
episode, they're not
Mhm.
psychotically freaking out in the
Mhm.
corner,
Mhm.
crying for their mother and
Mhm.
sucking their thumb like I would
Yeah.
be. I think that that would be something where you would reinforce deeply into your
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
psyche that when you say that word
Yeah.
because you were on drugs, right? And it
Mhm.
was deeper than surface level because you're really open minded at that point. And I think it would go into your long term learning.
Mhm.
And I'd be afraid,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
all that would be so suggestive and so
Mhm.
permanent. Then when you come
Mhm.
out of it, you're like, no, 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 no. The
Mhm.
word for
Mhm.
car is tren.
Uh-huh. Well, first first of all, just to help differentiate taking drugs, I would like to say taking psychedelics, because when you say
Yeah.
drugs, I
Sorry.
mean,
Psychedelics.
right,
We're going back to
I
psychedelics.
mean, we think of all the drugs
Yeah. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
different effects on that. So
Thank you for
we
that
would like to be
correction.
more specific.
Yes.
But when I mention this example,
Hmm.
it's really saying this is not a good idea for traditional classrooms, for
Right.
traditional learning. Taking psychedelics to learn a language will not help. Right, it won't help.
I
So
don't think so.
you're gonna get it wrong on the test.
Yeah.
That's why I said if it's not car and you say train, it's
It's
incorrect.
it's
There's
incorrect.
no you can't justify
No,
it,
you cannot. You
okay?
cannot say they all have
Yeah, it's
wheels
not gonna
and
help
they
you on the
move.
street, you're
No.
looking for the train and you say car or the other way
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
right? But you did bring up an interesting point of the unlearning, and I think that could help, and that's something I didn't even think about, because
Hmm.
I'm actually training someone now who is nearing 70 years old,
Yeah.
70, and he's not doing any psychedelics, just to make sure
And
nobody thinks
and
that.
and and he is a medical professional.
Yes, okay.
So
But what the thing that is so apparent compared to all my other younger students that I'm teaching is
mhm.
that I have to constantly correct the same errors over and over and over and over again, because he just
Um,
doesn't remember, and is so stuck in his ways. And so maybe that would benefit.
Right.
That would be an example of it would benefit because he's gonna unlearn it, but it's still not enough
Mhm.
research to say it's gonna help,
Right.
I just
Right.
don't have that enough, experience or there's not enough research there. So, yeah, the jury's out. Don't use psychedelics for traditional learning. However, I said traditional learning. If you wanna learn
Gosh.
if you wanna microdose or use psychedelics and then just put some headphones on and listen to a new language and no traditional learning, just, like, do it on your own,
Uh-huh.
see what happens. See what happens. I'm not saying there's research, but there's some people who say they learn that way because it's totally like an open book.
Yeah.
There's no strict manner of learning, and you're gonna absorb it some interesting way, right?
Oh
So,
my goodness.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Now,
that'll be
so my
interesting.
conclusions are, yeah, like what I just said, consult the doctor first. And I support in general the evolution and the legalization to experiment more, but
Mhm.
always through a doctor,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I do, as my own opinion, I support that, and that's happening at least in the U.S. I think I'm curious to know how other countries are if they're going
Yeah,
that direction.
that's what I wanted to know. I wonder if
Mhm.
if what's happening outside of the United States,
Yeah.
because that is those are those psychedelics, the
Mhm.
mushrooms
Mhm.
are they have to be global
Mhm.
because those the fungus that you're speaking about has to be something that grows
Mhm.
similarly in different
Yeah.
places of the
Right.
world, because we know through history
Mhm.
that different cultures utilize these drugs to have an open mind
Mhm.
and politics and whatnot. It's just faded away
Mhm.
over time culturally
Mhm.
because somewhere along the line, through either religious beliefs
Mhm.
or political beliefs or social
Mhm.
yeah, morons, listen to me, social mores,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it pretty much has been pushed aside.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame the church. I'm going to blame the church for a lot of the reasons. However, I
Mhm.
do think it's interesting because as much as I want to blame religion
Mhm.
for pushing that
Yeah.
aside, and I'm gonna okay, and I apologize for everyone out there. I am a lapsed Catholic, lapsed many insert religion here,
Mhm. Mhm.
but here's the thing:
Okay.
if I go to mass
Mhm.
and I go to take communion,
Mhm.
I am to believe
Mhm.
when I take communion
Mhm.
that the body of Christ and the blood of Christ,
Mhm.
the wafer thin piece of rice paper,
Yeah.
whatever it
Rice
is,
paper. Uh-huh.
it's I think it is,
Mhm.
and wine
Mhm.
turn literally into the blood and the body of Christ in my body.
Mhm.
That is the principle of doing that, and that we're not the only religion, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
LDS religion, Episcopals, Lutherans, all the Christian churches that take communion,
Mhm.
they literally are to believe that it is a conversion of that. That sounds like drug taking.
Oh, okay.
That's how I'm
I was wondering
relating
where's
that.
that going.
It was going. I know. Sometimes it takes me a bit to get to
Uh-huh.
it.
Okay.
And also, they're giving out alcohol. They're giving out
Like
alcohol, which
a
is a
show right
drug.
in itself.
It's a drug.
Right.
So so now in the LDS church, that's just bread,
Mhm.
it's bread and grape juice.
Okay.
But still, the
Mhm.
sugar. Sugar is a drug. I'm gonna go to that too. And also carbs are drugs. So if you want to argue, it's all drugs. We're taking drugs
D
no matter
I
what you look
I
at.
get this impression the church is on your chopping block.
Um,
Um,
I don't
I'm
know.
actually gonna
Maybe.
actually get in this case, in the case of psychedelics, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take the church off of the chopping block and put the government on there
Yeah, that too.
because, and this is a thing that I did not mention. I was gonna
Mhm.
mention earlier.
Mhm.
The main reason why it was banned and had negative publicity is because of the '60s. All the hippies they
Of
started taking it,
course, of
and
course.
it was known to be a gateway into protesting. And
Right,
guess what?
right.
The government doesn't like
No.
protesting. No.
But yet they'll experiment
Yeah.
on their own soldiers with drugs,
Uh-huh.
okay?
And atom bombs and
Yeah,
nuclear weapons. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Who cares about? that when we have to suppress the
Yeah,
protesters,
it's complete bullshit,
Yeah.
and it's incredibly hypocritical.
It
I
t
don't
Look, we're just
support
gonna
that.
be straight because 'cause we're straight shooters. It
Yeah,
threatened US power
it did.
structure, so you ban the
Yep,
shit out of it,
that's exactly what
and
they did.
that's what set us back decades from research.
Ford.
That's why you don't know anything about it, and that's why people of our generation
Yep.
are like, "No, those are drugs. They're all
Right,
drugs."
right,
Right? And yeah, the threat to power structure is what this whole thing why we're not as educated as we should be. Here's
right,
one more thing really
right.
important to talk about. We did talk about people with anxiety.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
People with PTSD and depression
Yeah.
and have addictive disorders like
Uh-huh.
tobacco.
Uh-huh.
This is a great
Okay.
source for that.
So let's go into that. Let's break that down. So I've let the listeners know that I had been diagnosed with PTSD.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have a now non-active eating disorder. I
Okay.
was bulimic overeater. And FYI, people out there, it is not a matter of willpower. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with
Oh,
it. So people didn't know this about me. They had no
yeah.
idea. I also come from alcoholic parents.
Hmm.
I am very, very fortunate
Yeah.
not to have the same disease as them. I don't have alcoholism as a disease. My drug was food.
Hmm.
And I all of that is managed now, and I'm really happy about that. But the situation was my anxiety is a result of many of these things, right?
Hmm.
So I have a mental illness,
Hmm.
which is anxiety,
Hmm.
and I make sure that I manage that as well,
Yeah.
because what people are also ignorant about the fact that when somebody says you have a mental illness, they think, oh, you're crazy. And that's, you know what? That's an
Old
antiquated
school.
word.
Old
It's
school.
a
Come on,
really
guys.
old school. It is a lot of people that you know that you never would know have mental illness.
Mhm,
And I also would like to challenge the DSM-5 to stop saying mental illness
mhm,
and call it something else
mhm, mhm.
than illness,
Yeah.
or change the meaning of the word
Mhm,
illness because
mhm.
it's a negative connotation
Right.
and it's more of a state of being.
Yes.
Uh,
Something
I'm
that we can accept.
exactly
Mhm,
something that people can accept and not marginalize
mhm,
anymore and
mhm,
not be have shame over it. I'm a successful CEO.
mhm,
I have a very stable marriage now going on 31 years. I have two very successful children that
mhm.
are stable in their own people,
Yeah.
and they have had their own demons to deal with growing up, as we all do. And I mean, my point is, I am a completely whole
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and yet I have these things,
Yeah.
but I don't take drugs right now.
Mhm,
Like, I don't take
mhm,
any
mhm,
medication
mhm,
because I manage my illness through food and exercise,
mhm,
in the sense that I watch my sugar content
mhm.
and I don't drink caffeine
Right.
because those are triggers for me, and if I don't get enough exercise. And also
Mhm,
I've learned, which a lot of people
mhm.
get drug, vitamin D deficiency. I
Yeah.
had a huge
Check your
vitamin D.
vitamin D,
Yeah,
everybody.
it's a depression and anxiety issue causer. Also gluten,
Yes.
that can also cause those
Mhm,
issues. So there's so many things that we still don't know about, and you're talking about
mhm.
research. So if psychedelics can help people, and that's what I had been researching about at one point,
Yeah.
but what stirred me away was basically the psychotic
Right.
break
Yes.
part. And because I do have anxiety, that
Yes.
voice in my head says,
Yes.
oh, no, 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 you better not take that,
Yeah.
because you're going to be one of the ones in the
Mhm,
corner freaking out.
mm.
And I don't want to be one of the ones in the corner freaking out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I hope that it would do well for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I think there's many people like me that under the supervision of a doctor
Mhm.
could benefit
Yeah.
from something like that if they had severe
Right.
severe episodes. Now I also want the listeners to know that I don't have severe anxiety.
Mhm,
I at one point very much did.
mhm.
But I had learned to manage it, and I have coping skills like any other
Right.
person that has a disorder. And I function extremely well.
Mhm,
And most people would never know that I have this. But I also think that there are many people that have doctors that are, it's like, okay, it's like you go to the doctor, and it's maybe partially a gender thing. You go to the doctor, and especially when I had my eating disorder, and they say, okay, you need to lose weight, you're overweight. And they never asked me what were my eating patterns.
mhm.
They never asked me, No, not one doctor
Yeah.
ever knew that I had an eating disorder because they never dive
Mhm.
deep enough into the person
Mhm.
to find that out until
Okay.
I actually came up and
Huh.
said, "I have these problems,"
Yeah.
and went and sought therapy
Okay.
for it.
So
So, there's still so many things that doctors
yeah.
miss.
Were they looking just to diagnose?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're looking just to
Just to
diagnose, just
write
to
a
check you off, write a
prescription.
prescription, off you go.
Again, guys, we're way behind,
Way behind.
and the mentality of this whole, ban everything,
Yeah,
restrict everything because it's going to make us free thinkers. We're still under that shadow, and
completely.
the fact that I can't have enough information
Right,
to talk about this is we're in that shadow of the 50s and the 60s, and this whole threat to our power structure, and how
completely.
anything that threatens the freedom of free will and free
Mhm,
thinking is
mhm.
just we're going to suppress it with synthetic drugs and
Yep.
all the stuff. So
And I don't
yeah,
want people to think, "Oh, they're going to their Los Angelino roots, and it's the whole '60s
yeah,
David Crosby, Jim Morrison thing."
yeah.
Neil Young, well, gotta love the Canadians because 'cause they're far more open-minded
Go
about some of this
Canada.
stuff. Go Canada. But, I am grateful
Hmm.
that we did have that influence,
Yeah.
because if we had not learned that there was, the group in the '60s doing this,
Hmm.
it wouldn't allow us to not just be open-minded to it, but it wouldn't allow us to have perspective. And I think that the one thing that I believe about all learning,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what you learn about. It could be you can learn about how to put a car together,
Uh-huh.
or
Hmm.
how to mine in an ocean, or other things like this,
Hmm.
right? It could just be the most off-topic thing, how to crochet.
Right.
But you learn and you get perspective and you
Mhm.
learn more about culture
Yes.
and the culture of that thing.
Right.
Now, it's such a taboo subject,
Mhm.
drugs,
Mhm.
because, they're illegal.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
are not.
Yeah.
And the regulation by the government,
Mhm.
like you're talking about, I think you're very, very, very right that they should be the ones on the chopping block. But the problem with government
Yeah.
is every so many years,
Mhm.
new people are elected,
Yeah.
and those people that are elected
Mhm.
are just like us,
Right.
right? They're anybody,
Mhm.
any person.
Mhm.
They didn't go to school to learn to be a politician or whatever. They went to school to learn something else,
Mhm.
or maybe they learned about government and political science or journalism or
Mhm.
communication. And they're like, I can talk in front of people.
Mhm.
I can be a politician. And they're just a talking head.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's the problem with government.
Uh,
So
yes.
you don't have the people behind the movement.
Yeah.
So I think the people that are lobbyists
Mhm. Mhm.
that have the research,
Yeah.
those people
Mhm.
are the ones really that are the influencers, right, in
Yeah.
government,
Oh, yeah, lobbyists.
major
Yeah.
lobbyists,
Yeah.
and the money goes behind them.
Mhm.
But topics like this they frighten people.
Mhm.
So you're right. The
Yeah.
research is not there because
Yeah.
there's not enough money and
Yeah.
there's not enough lobbyists
Mhm.
pushing it forward.
Right. Right. And, living those all of you who have been traveling other
Mhm.
countries will see a huge difference on how mental health is treated in other countries. Like,
Yeah.
in the US, we're so drug dependent, and once you cut that off, they're like, "Where's my drugs?" And then they don't know how to function. Whereas you go to other countries and it's like we talked about, it's like these behaviors are not demonized. Like we
Uh-uh.
can live with them. We learn how to live more diverse ways,
Right.
and things are accepted. And
Mhm.
so people don't go off we say the deep end with like, I need this drug. I need, and you
Yeah.
you just see it like we're living in Spain, and
Mhm.
I'm like shocked at how I could go to an event with 1,000 people,
Right.
and people are just enjoying. You don't
Yeah.
see people really overreacting, or fighting, or looking for
No.
fights, or like
No.
this over aggressive. It's just this amazing human event that we can enjoy, and I feel
Mhm.
like I've
Mhm.
lost that. Like I in the US, like I don't want to go to any crowded places, and I don't want
Right.
that feeling of like going to be attacked, or
Right.
like someone's gonna it's just it's a we've just gotten to the point where our culture, our government has just allowed us to become swallowed up in our paranoia and our the labeled illnesses are take getting the best of us,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
Completely. And and that's the thing is that our country is an amazing country. Like
mhm,
every country is amazing because
mhm,
it's people.
yeah,
People are beautiful things,
yeah,
right? To sound
yeah,
like the whole hippie
uh-huh,
here.
uh-huh,
But every country
yeah,
has value and worth.
yes,
Every human has
mhm,
value and worth.
mhm,
No matter
yeah,
what socioeconomic level they are on,
mhm,
no matter what level of ability
yeah,
they have,
mhm,
in any manner,
yeah,
every single human, every single creature has worth. But we love to shit on everyone else
demonize,
and
right?
demonize
You're not normal, so get a
you're
drug. Here's a
exactly,
drug, right?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and, you know, I do say a lot of great things about the US. There's just
Oh
amazing
yeah.
things, and we should just balance that out, but, like, we can't ignore
No, we
what's
can't. We
happening,
can't ignore
you
it. And we
know?
can't be silent about it
Yeah,
either. Because
exactly.
that's the only way things are going to change.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to have
Free
shed
speech.
light, free speech. And
Amendment
that's
number 1, by the way.
yeah, and that's a
Yeah,
beautiful
I
thing about the
confuse that
United States.
I confuse that with amendment number 2 with
No, no,
which is
no, no.
arms,
Yeah,
weapons, which
weapons.
is another
No.
issue. Anyway,
And what about the fifth? You know what the fifth
yeah,
is too?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
I'm gonna plead the 5th on that.
Yeah, and what is the pleading the fifth? But it's not just that because
Uh,
I was in a meeting recently with somebody and we were discussing pleading the fifth and
uh,
explaining what that was,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's not just pleading the fifth. It's
Mhm,
not just saying, I'm not going to self incriminate, so
mhm,
I'm going to stay quiet,
mhm.
which is why you plead the fifth.
Right.
But it's also the right to a grand jury.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
also the right to not be tried for double jeopardy.
Mhm. Interesting.
That's also the
Yeah,
Fifth Amendment.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the thing is
Mhm,
that there's more than just the one thing in
mhm,
most
mhm.
amendments. People go back and read the
Yeah,
Bill of Rights, the
yeah,
first 10 amendments
right.
of the Constitution, and check out how there are so many more things
Go into the
within
fine print.
go in the fine print
Yeah,
and how certain things are still legal,
yeah.
like the quartering of soldiers,
Oh,
which I believe is the Fourth Amendment. I
okay.
that is still legal. The
Okay.
government could still come into your house
Uh-huh.
and throw soldiers into your house and make you live in the barn.
Okay. Oh, I was imagining something different with quartering of
Oh, no,
soldiers.
no, no. No, but no, you can't. You still like,
Cut
yeah,
cutting
no,
them into quarters.
no, not that, not that. But if you had to, if you had, I mean, and of course that would
Uh-huh.
probably hardly ever happen, but it could
You
happen.
never know.
You never know.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know
You
what's going
may
to happen. This is
mhm.
why people, okay, I know again, digressing here,
Yeah.
but the Montana militia
Yes.
and all the people that form these militias,
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to go there. I get why they do it.
Okay.
I don't condone it.
Mhm.
I do not condone and translate this, and this podcast does not condone violence against governments
Yes. Or against anybody.
or against anyone.
Mhm.
However, I completely understand why militia would want to be holed up
Mhm.
away with their own thing going
In their yeah, cave
in
somewhere.
their own cave
Yeah.
somewhere so they don't have to deal with the bullshit
Mhm.
of all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then interestingly,
Mhm.
though, we live in a very, very socialistic country
Yeah.
now who just stopped being communist
Mhm.
50 years ago or whatever it was.
Or fascist. Well, technically dictatorship.
Fascist dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Dictatorship.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
But under that rule,
Mhm.
we're complete oppression.
Yes.
And if you and in
Fear.
Spain,
Lots of fear.
lots of fear. And
Mhm.
here in Spain, there's a lot falling into line.
Mhm. Yeah.
Lot of very homogenous
Mhm.
people here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they don't think
Yeah.
outside of the box
Right.
as much as their neighbors
Mhm.
might. Like the French are just so out of the box.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of traditional French too,
But
but there's a lot of people
mhm.
that have more free
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah.
I feel, than
Mhm.
some of our Spanish people here, which,
Yeah.
again, I think it's culture, it's how you're raised.
Mhm.
So we have here, we don't have all the drug culture.
Mhm.
In the United States, we do.
Mhm.
I had a surgery here. I was given basically Advil,
Mhm.
and that
Okay.
was it. I had one shot of morphine when I came
Ugh,
out of the surgery for the pain, and the rest of it was anti-inflammatories
thank God it
until I
wasn't
healed.
fentanyl. Thank
No, it,
God.
it was
Yeah.
not because it's illegal here,
Yeah.
and
Thank God.
they don't have oxycodone here,
Oh,
which I'm
wow.
allergic to, which I
Yeah.
found out with having
Uh-huh.
to take it back in the United States one time.
Yeah.
They don't have any of that.
Mhm.
I'd make a very bad drug addict. Let's just put that. I'd die the first time. most likely
Uh-huh.
taking any of those hard drugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it's amazing to me how it's just a different lifestyle, but it's such a healthier lifestyle here.
Yeah. Definitely.
And they have access to all the big pharma if
Mhm.
they wanted
Mhm.
to have it, but they choose not to
Yeah.
because they recognize
Yeah.
not to do that, which is why I believe also there's a lot of free it's I think it's decriminalized in Spain, and producer
Mhm.
Lauren might let me know, but I think it's decriminalized to grow cannabis in Spain,
Mhm.
or I see grow shops
Yeah.
in certain
Yes.
sections of Spain.
Yes.
But I'm not sure. I
It's
know it's illegal.
definitely decriminalized.
I
Yeah.
think it's
Mhm.
decriminalized.
Yes.
But I think that you'll see more and more European countries that share the attitude
Mhm.
of Spain
Mhm.
to have some of these other drugs be
Mhm.
decriminalized, psychedelics be
Mhm.
decriminalized. I believe that that would happen here. I think there would be more
It's
people
gonna
inclined to
happen,
do it.
and, you get to shout out to places like Oregon, who's,
Right.
starting it in, when you look at when cannabis started, it was, Colorado,
Yep.
Washington, right? And other countries,
Right.
just other states, other countries, just kind of
Hmm.
they're all watching.
Yeah, they
They're all
are.
watching,
They are.
and the terrible thing that turns into good is, as the US becomes more and more addicted to these harsh drugs,
Right.
the countries are watching, and
Yep.
I
Yep.
see that if they're seeing the consequences
Yeah.
of that, but, so protect your own people, you
Right.
know? We
Right.
don't need these crazy synthetic drugs.
The things that we're seeing here, basically, the perspective of the European general journalist against the US in
Mhm.
terms of drugs are the complete and utter lack of understanding of why we don't ban assault rifles and why we don't remove guns
Mhm.
from our culture.
Mhm.
That's just everywhere on the news here. Like
Mhm.
no one understands. Ever since we started living in Europe,
Mhm.
which is probably around this kind of the same time period,
Mhm.
but more recently we've been here, and I have never seen so many just outright cries from Europeans
Mhm.
to for the Americans to stop
Mhm.
the gun thing and to get that under control.
Yeah.
And then the second thing
Mhm.
is they're highly aware of our opioid addiction
Yeah.
issue. They're highly aware of it and
Mhm.
they don't want that to happen here.
Mhm.
And they don't want the drugs here.
Mhm.
And the sad part is that because of the cartels in South America, they are now coming into Portugal and Spain as entry points
Mhm.
because there are a lot of people here from Venezuela and
Mhm.
Colombia. And I'm not blaming
Mhm.
them, but
Mhm.
Escobar, Pablo Escobar,
Mhm.
and drug culture carried over when a lot
Mhm.
of people left
We're talking
to
about
come
the
to Spain.
90s, 80s, 90s. I mean,
Yes,
obviously,
they
it's
came
worldwide.
over. They
Mhm.
came over. They left. They're trying to escape. People are trying to get out of that crap.
Mhm.
But a lot of people who have left
Mhm.
Latin America in general
Mhm.
that come to Europe
Mhm.
have money
Mhm.
because of drug
Mhm.
culture. There are a
Okay.
lot of people that have come over because they've benefited from drug culture,
Oh.
not just people that are coming over to get
Mhm.
a new life. Because there's a lot of people here who've come over with
Let's
nothing.
just say the majority of people, that I see and I know, and just statistically, they're all looking for a better way
They're looking
to
for a
live,
better way to
better way to
live.
live. Very,
Yeah,
very legal,
yeah.
very, but yeah,
But my
there's
point is that the
always, there's
cartels are
always,
coming. The
let-
cartels are trying to infiltrate Europe,
let's
and
be real about it. Yeah. They're
they're
powerful.
trying, yeah, and they're trying to push them away.
Yeah.
So the more countries can decriminalize
Hmm.
and study and make a judgment of which drugs
Hmm.
are really should be used
Hmm. Hmm.
for medical
Hmm.
purposes and recreational purposes
Hmm.
and which ones really should not.
Hmm.
I think that is in everyone's best interest.
Yeah.
And to make one more comment,
Hmm.
I've a very very good friends that live in Utah who
Hmm.
are LDS, who when we talked to them
Hmm.
about, they were actually living in Colorado at the time that producer Lauren and I went and visited them last, and we asked them, we're like, wow, you guys legalize marijuana, what do you think about that?
Hmm.
And one said, I don't like it because we don't know the effects of how long it lasts in the body
Hmm.
when driving. So
Hmm.
there's no, like with alcohol, we know
Hmm.
what it does and how
Hmm.
long it lasts in your body, and they
Hmm.
can arrest people,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to edibles, because edibles last a whole much longer in
Yeah.
your body than smoking
Yeah.
it. But the other partner said, I'm totally in favor of it
Hmm.
because let's just tax the shit out of it.
Mhm.
And it was an
I'm all for that. Yeah.
economic decision, right? And I'm all
Yes.
for that too,
Yeah.
because every state that's done
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
has created a massive amount of wealth that
Yeah.
goes to public service,
Yes.
goes to
Absolutely.
supporting the police and
Mhm.
the hospitals and the fire department and the schools
Mhm.
and transportation, and it's a revenue
Yeah.
stream. So I do see the value in that. I
Mhm.
hope that they can do this with psychedelics. I hope that they can decriminalize it and legalize it and do
Mhm.
the same thing, tax it
Mhm.
to the hilt
Mhm.
to make it be
Mhm.
something that can be regulated.
Yeah.
And then it demystifies it all.
Yeah.
And then that puts a big
You
stick
put
in the
warning labels when it's
right,
legal. You put warning labels and say, if you have this, this health
right,
concern
right,
or challenge, you need to watch out.
right.
When it's illegal, there's no warning
There's no
labels,
warning label and
right?
people just die.
Yeah.
No, I think this is fascinating. But going back to your
Hmm.
original thing about learning a language,
Hmm.
I would say 90% of the people that I know that were learning languages have used alcohol to help them relax.
Hmm. We're talking about adults.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, hopefully not children. Hopefully
Oh,
not my 8th grade
teenagers.
students
Yeah.
were
You
drinking
never know.
alcohol before they took my
You
Spanish
never
class.
know.
Let's hope not. I really pray and
So,
hope not.
I mean, it was always a joke. We kind of mentioned it, but you have your modern language class with the mini bar in
That's
the
it.
corner, or actually on the way in. On the way in, you say, "Okay, want a shot?"
Yeah. Take a
How many
shot.
more people registering? Would you like? I'm signing up for that.
I know. Well, think about it. What you do then, you just combine the two. We said, we're going to learn language, but we're going to teach it in wine class. So tonight we're going to learn about brandy.
Absolutely.
Tonight we're going to learn about wine. And then just think about the amount of language that would be gained
Hmm.
immediately.
Hmm.
Problem is then transferring it to other things. So we're going to learn about this now. And it happens to be, okay, let's learn about how they make wine barrels.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And that maybe,
Yeah.
and that could be like how you get outside of that
Yeah.
area, but you'd have to figure something out how
Well,
to
yeah.
you could bring your science in and let's how do you
Hmm.
distill vodka?
Hmm. So every single word on that process, but you don't know how to like give directions.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
That's okay
exactly.
though.
Yeah, we
You
could
know how to talk about wine.
yeah.
But yeah, that's all about bilingual education too. It's
Yes,
like
it
you're
is.
not, you integrate fascinating topics that you enjoy with the language, and that's really the best way
Yeah,
in a language classroom. Of course,
completely.
traveling, all that, being immersed is the best. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of integrating those topics. So
Well, this has been
mhm.
fascinating. I really appreciate you
Well,
doing this
great.
topic because
Thank you for contributing
yeah.
and bringing your perspective. It's like really important,
Yeah.
that you did because psychedelics is not a one way ticket to success. There's a lot of
No.
things and more research needed. So, but thank you again, and thank you, listeners, for engaging in your listening. Maybe you were talking, but we didn't hear you.
They might be doing psychedelics now,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
didn't condone it.
Yeah. A car is a car. A train is
Yes.
a train.
Train is a train. Yes.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
in the movie Almost Famous, when she
Uh,
drops him off at the concert and she
uh,
screams out the window at her son,
uh,
"Don't do drugs." That's going to be me on this podcast. Don't do drugs.
yeah. All right. So that is it.
All right. Well, you can find us on social media at translate this podcast.com on our actual webpage, or translate this _podcast on Instagram, or at translate this podcast on Facebook. But however you find us,
Yes.
tell your friends.
There you go.
Tell your friends.
Tell your
And
friends.
ask your friends to listen to our psychedelic conversations and ask them, what do you think?
Mhm. There you go. Spread the word.
Yeah. This has been Translate
This
with
Richard.
and Melissa. And let's hope that you all come back for another listen to the next episode, which we don't know what it is yet, do we?
Nope. That's why.
But we're going to have some upcoming episodes. I'm going to give you a preview. We're going to be doing things about third culture kids. We're going to be doing things more about Spain, different regions of Spain. We're going to be doing things about Richard.
Secret. It's all secret.
Okay.
Yeah,
secret.
you
I'm
just gotta.
I'm already revealing some of mine, but that's okay. But he doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what
No,
TCK is. But for
no.
those of you who know what TCK is, it's coming your way on
All right.
Translate This.
All right, everybody. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning
Bye.
in.